What is up, everyone? Emperador Maximiliano hanging out here. Little midweek market update. I know we're a little past the midpoint of the week, but yesterday the market was just waiting on Powell to see what was going to happen there. But a lot of things going on in the market. We're going to update you with everything that's going on out there. I've got a couple friends, obviously, is going to come in here in just a minute and chat with us a little bit. But first off, big shout out to Vista Shares. We appreciate working and partnering with them, creating some really interesting ETFs. Definitely go to vistashares.com, check that out. OMAH, Omaha? Omaha. Shout out Peyton Manning too. Omaha. Very interesting. Invest like Buffett, who we just heard this past weekend is going to be stepping down at the end of the year. One of the all-time legends, one of the greatest to ever do it. But OMAH, very interesting ticker here. You can see some of the core holdings here. Not a recommendation to buy or sell, of course. Make sure you go do your due diligence. Good place to start, vistashares.com, and check out the prospectus there. And with that, let's jump into the markets a little bit. And I do have my friend Casey Trades joining here. What's up, Casey?
What's up, man?
The market, that's what's up. How about
That
it?
is. I needed to break out of this range and I want to see continuation higher.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up this daily real fast. We are poking through. We're currently over the 200-day moving average on QQQ. Um, we hit it, rejected, kind of created this daily bull flag, and then SPY, kind of the same thing. SPY hadn't got there yet. I think it's going there. I just think it's gonna be a magnet. I don't know if we get there today, but I think it's a magnet up here. We're really not far away. At $3.40, basically, we'll call it away there on SPY. Casey, what have you been trading? No worries, Casey may be a little tied up there. But yeah, I've been looking at this. I do want to look at in Q. This is where I really saw this just clear, pronounced bull flag. To me, this was just a very clear looking falling wedge, bull flag, whatever you want to call it. Big move up. We hit the 200-day, of course, over on QQQ and NDX. But I saw this setting up here on NQ. Also saw this. I mean, this is what looked really good on ES. If you look, it's just holding. This is the 50-day moving average. Once again, you know, so many days up, we needed to pulled back, and basically stayed here. Big level, big area that we held right on that 50-day, and then push up, bull flag breaking out. Let's see if we can get some continuation. I really think we do. This look is great. What's causing this? Obviously, a lot of stuff, a lot of news, right? Had all kinds of news. Let's jump over to my friend Stock Market News here. Let's go to his feed here, and we'll scroll back a little bit because I want to hit some of these things from yesterday. We've got a lot to scroll through here. Let me get down here a little bit. All right, yesterday we did have kind of a wild time. So first, Trump came out basically before Jerome Powell and said, "We have we're going to keep the 145 on China. We're not going to budge." And the market didn't like that. Came down. Didn't do a whole lot. Powell and the Fed, no cut, of course. No real commentary. Nothing really came out of that FOMC meeting yesterday at all. I think he said wait and uncertainty like 28 times. He just kept, data dependent. Same thing, but probably even more of a step back than ever from the Fed. And then we had a couple interesting things that happened. So right about 20 minutes before the close, President Trump did come back out and say he's going to rescind the global chip curbs and AI restrictions from the Biden era, and that sent a lot of the market higher. And then last night, the big announcement. It'll be up here a little bit right here. We just had this. This happened this morning, so we'll get an update on this here as well. Big news conference tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Obviously, we know it didn't start until like 10:45 or later. But concerning a major trade deal with representatives of a big and highly respected country, the first of many. Market absolutely soared on that. If you look at the futures last night, you can see when this came out, we were right down here, and when this came out, we flew. This is in Q here. Yes, this is a 15-minute chart, so you can see just absolutely flew, and then tracked back a little bit, basically back tested. I mean, this structure looks really good here, but that's a beautiful move. You can see right here is when this news came out, that we were going to have a trade deal. Finally, the first one. We haven't had one yet, so the first one came in here, and then we had some more rumblings that it was going to be the UK, which of course it was. And as I scroll up here, we'll get some of those headlines as they were coming out this morning. There we go. U.S. to cut tariffs on UK made cars to 10%, and beef tariffs are going to be close to zero. President Trump then started saying final details of the deal will be written in the next couple of weeks. The UK also announced they're going to purchase 10 billion of Boeing planes, which Boeing absolutely flew on that news as well. Then some positive comments around China right here. Trump was asked if China tariff could be lowered, and he said could be. Now that's different than what he said yesterday, but it doesn't matter. Just whatever direction the news is going in, the market's going in right now. Just very reactive. But yeah, that's where we are. Bitcoin also back over 100K. So big shout out to our friend Stock Market News. Make sure you follow. If you're not following him, you should be. If you're coming from somewhere else, you've got to follow Stock Market News. And let's jump back over to the charts. Let's go kind of see what's going on currently. You can see about when all of the good news started coming out here, and we just absolutely ripped. We're kind of building a little bit of a bull flag up here above previous day, and honestly, this is as high as we've been in quite a while. This was the other highs that we made back last Friday, and here we are, basically hanging out above that right now. So very, very interesting. So you look at the daily again, you can see, boom, 200-day rejection, and now we're pushing up once more. So very, very interesting. Where's the NDX? This is your NASDAQ cash index. Same thing. You can see right at that 200-day right here, rejection, and then bull flag setup. It looks good for some continuation, in my opinion. Casey, you got any thoughts on kind of the overall market here?
Yeah, so I'm in NVIDIA calls still. I'm looking for this move back up near the 120. So you got SPY still holding EMAs above previous week high, which is good. You got QQQ above the 9 EMA as well, above previous week high. That's at like, let me see, what level do I have?
That was the other thing. I'm glad you mentioned that. It was the other thing I noticed yesterday. Let me
It's like 491 on Qs. We ripped above it this morning, retested it around like 11:55, and we're above it right now.
Here's that
So I,
daily nine I've got on the screen right here that you're talking about, Casey. I was watching this
beautiful.
yesterday's SPY. Look at this low of day on SPY right here. You see this?
Yep.
I mean,
That
this
was the
is
big support yesterday for that head and shoulders
perfect.
on the 4 hour that it kept holding. If that broke, it was going to be a flusher, but it held over
Yeah,
and over and over again, and we've been inside this range.
same thing right there on QQQ. You can see, but SPY it was the exact low of day. I mean, the exact. I mean, it doesn't get more exact than that. I mean, goodness gracious, that's beautiful. Look at that right there. Boom. Exact low date on that daily nine that you're talking about. Casey, I like I'm in the video too. I got a little bit lucky. I liked the chart, but I got a little bit lucky. The news came out right after I got into the 120s. Um, but I just think going back to that 120, actually the 123 really makes sense too. But when I'm looking at this, I just there's a daily nine, there's a 200s up here. I think we're probably going to go test that. We haven't tested it since we broke it back in February. And then everything else looks pretty good. But here's the let me turn off a couple of these other ones. But this is a 50-day moving average coming down, and we got over it and held it very similar to what I was showing on ES a while ago. And I just kept seeing, I think a 4 hour chart was showing it maybe a little bit better. I just kept seeing this higher low pattern, and it just seemed like they kept buying it up here,
So
holding
what I
that
did the
50
other day
day.
was swing call. So I hit that trend line there right there on the 4 hour on Nvidia. So I hit that trend line for all those higher lows and that same high that you're talking about. So yeah, like that little green candle right there. Yeah. So and then I hit that next low right up there. And then there's a high that was around, it was just shy of one. Yeah, right there.
You can
So
kind of
this,
draw it right in there.
yeah, so that was the chart. So I put that level right across there for the highs because even right there, zoom out, look left, you'll see it. It's perfect. So I've been watching that for a minute and it just looked like an ascending triangle, like it was ready to squeeze and go break straight to that 120, which pre-market, it hit like a few cents shy. But I do think we can get that continuation to get up higher to those mid 120s if we continue to reclaim and hold above it for NVIDIA.
This 114, 115 area, I drew this level as well, and I just
Big,
kept
it's
seeing it
been huge.
try to break here.
Yeah.
But I saw the same thing. I was seeing this, and I kept seeing it try to break, and I was like, it was starting to hold this 50 day, which I have this set. I know I'm on a 4 hour chart. This is the 50 day. It's set to the daily time frame. And I just kept seeing this hold over and over. And when I kept seeing that, I just got in same kind of area. I saw that trend line hold again. And I like it. 123, I say that because that's basically a 3 trillion market cap area. 123 has been a big spot if you go back further, but yeah, I like that. What was the other ticker you mentioned, Casey?
That's the only other one that I'm watching right now with
Is it the only other one you traded?
yeah,
I
with
thought you mentioned another one. You took some.
with
Oh, you were.
spying
It was
cues.
It was Oscar. I want you and Nas to tell me about this.
Uh,
OSCR, Oscar
that's
Health.
that's
Oh,
all that's all knots right there, baby.
You
oh
just
yeah.
trusted Knots. Knots, give me a rundown on this Oscar ticker.
So while you're on that chart, hold on, I just lost it for a second. While you're on that
Or if you
chart,
want to throw yours up, either one, but I can do this. I can do it either way, whatever you want to do.
no, keep it there. It's nice and clean. Make it a weekly or a monthly. It doesn't matter.
All right, let's go monthly. Let's start monthly.
Okay. So first of all, on this you could see a cup and handle. That's first of all.
Oh yeah,
You have
yeah.
a nice cup
That's the
there.
first thing I see is that right there, which
Yep,
usually resolves that way. But yeah, big cup and handle here.
correct. So that's the technical side of it. Obviously, cup and handle there forming on the weekly and the monthly, looking really good on the technical side. Same
Also, kind of a
technical ways.
falling wedge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Hey,
Um,
that
same
like
technical
that.
ways on why I loved hymns and PLTR as well. Um, and we could check that in just a second to kind of show the comparisons. But OSCR overall, really good company, growing financially, fundamentally, um,
That's
and
beautiful.
really good exponential growth. So revenue up over 22 to 23% per year. EPS is going to be over 600% this year. Good free cash flow. And again, this is the same reason why I also invested in PLTR, why I invested in HIMS. So again, all three of these are like perfect comparisons. PLTR is obviously in a different industry, in the tech sector. HIMS is mini tech, mostly healthcare, and Oscar is just full healthcare / insurance. So, but I mean, all three of them are the same thing, fundamentally growing, very nicely, and technical wise, all had large, nice cup and handles on the weekly and monthly.
What exactly do they do? Health insurance, health care? What is the
Yeah, so
what's the story on Oscar?
their insurance, they work with individuals and businesses. They have something very interesting. I can't think of it on the top of my mind right now. Hold on, let me see if I give me a second. They have something very interesting with their insurance, and I know people have used them before. And I've only gotten one bad review out of I think 6 people or 5 people. I can't remember the exact number either. Again, it's been a while. I did my DD on it a while ago. But overall, I forgot the thing that they do, like specific, like the thing that made it really interesting. I'm gonna look for it and I'll come back to you. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it. But yeah, overall, again, fundamentally and technically, it's a really nice chart. And they had earnings the other day, nice beat on revenue and EPS, and they guided, in line and or above expectations. So very nice.
This is a huge 30-40% move on earnings. That's massive. HIMS is the other one that I know both of you guys have been trading and been all over this. What's your updated thoughts on HIMS? I mean, it's played out at this point. I mean, obviously it's not a trim, probably not a chase. It's probably a trim spot for now. But what do you like about HIMS? What's the update on that?
Could I actually pull my chart up for that one?
Yeah, do it.
Let me set it up. Hold on one second. Okay.
And there you are.
Okay.
Boom. There's Nas's chart.
Technically, really nice. And let me just show you that cup and handle that I was referring to with Oscar. Oops. Monthly.
Oh wow,
let's
yeah.
go on the daily. I mean, on the weekly. Hold on. So you can see, nice cup and handle here. Handle, boom. Okay. Let me go back to where I just was. Sorry about that. I'm going back and forth here. But you can see we've been holding these trend lines from November of 2023, the bottom trend line. I guess you could say it could be really September. And then we hit it again in April here. And then from March of 2024, we've had that top trend line. If we were actually to hit that top trend line again, we'd be in the 90s to 100 area. So again, there is upside here. For HIMS though, if you're buying it long term, there's definitely going to be dips on it. And if you follow HIMS or trade HIMS, it has its 10% days, it has its 15% days, if news comes out. So there's always an opportunity here with HIMS. So again, fundamentally, really good earnings. Again, beat EPS by 65%, revenue by 8%, and they guided higher. And they also guided for 2030, which they did. They guided for 2030 that they're going to 3 times their current revenue, which is going to be really big.
I saw that. That's what stuck out to me like the most probably from that was that further outlook guide. That's a pretty aggressive guide too for 5 years out.
Yeah, and their EBITDA I think was going to grow by 4 times. I think they said. Now here's the interesting part. So they did the same thing in very early 2022. Okay, So in very early 2022, they guided for 2025. They gave a 3-year, out guidance, and their guidance was 1.2 billion in revenue and a positive EBITDA. Their current revenue for 2025 compared to those expectations. So again, they guided for 1.2 billion on the year for 2025. They're expected to hit 2.3 to 2.6 billion this year. So they basically beat their 3-year ahead guidance for 2022 into 2025 by 100%, which is
Wow,
very,
that's
very
incredible.
interesting. So it's really interesting to see do they do that again in 2030 or do they kind of get in line? Either way, the business does look like it is expected to grow. They have really good partnerships, really good products. And the craziest thing yet is they did not even expand internationally yet, which they are going to do this year. So there is definitely a lot to come for Hims, and this is one of my easily top 2 or top 3 favorite long-term company. And I mean they've executed on it, so it obviously shows that they are putting in the work. Really good team.
Love it. Have you what else is on your radar? I mean, obviously we're talking about the market a little bit there and the news and everything, and I think we are going to go into the 200-day on SPY. That's my prediction. QQQ and NDX did it. I think SPX and SPY does it next. What else have you been trading though? We hit some of these charts a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Sorry. Allergies.
Boy, look at that. Look at that sexy guy over there.
Oh yeah. Look at that guy. What have
Look at
I
that guy
been
right there.
trading?
Ooh, close though. We might make a new high day here on Qs. Just got a nice little reversal off the
There's SPY right there.
5-minute 9. See if we can push up
The only thing I don't like
to.
is Nvidia's not really participating, but I see
I
Microsoft is at
know.
the highs, cup and handle. I need Google to recover.
I do not like
Broadcom,
Nvidia
oof,
not
that's
moving.
beautiful.
I think it's going to be interesting to watch gold around here, and I have been trading a little bit of futures on it.
Gold got hammered. I just looked at
Yeah,
it.
it
Wow.
just literally dropped like another 30 points in the past 20 minutes that I've been away, which is crazy.
That's straight down.
That 3,300 area is going to be a big spot. You can see we obviously have wicked, opened, and closed around that area multiple times. So at 3,300, and just obviously because it's a whole number in general, going to be a big spot there. And then a little bit lower, 3,277. Again, a lot of wicks in this area. No openings or closings, but you could see there's obviously something there. There's been shares traded there. There's been support there. There's been resistance there. So
Yeah, go
3,300.
to GLD as well. GLD is a pretty clear look at it too.
Let's see.
There's a level there, but if it breaks, there's a big gap down below us to fill. You see that?
Mm-hmm. And look at all the gaps we've had on gold over the past
Yeah,
just
it's
weeks.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Which obviously gold has been moving a lot. I noticed this the other day. If you go like you go to a smaller time frame chart on the futures on GC, and you'll see whenever Asia gets opened around it's usually around 9 p.m. Around 9 p.m. you'll see a spike in buying almost every night.
There
Yeah,
you
you
go.
see that? And if you go back, that's happened I don't know, 4 or 5 out of the last 8 or 9 days. It's like Asia opens and they're just buying gold, just buying gold. So
This
right around
is,
that 8 or 9 o'clock.
yeah, this is 10 minutes before we got a spike.
Yeah, there you go. It's right around that time. Almost every night they start buying. That's been interesting. It's just something that stuck out to me on
Yep.
gold.
There you go again.
No, let's throw up Bitcoin, by the way.
Yeah, 100,000.
101.
100
Back in
beans.
the six figures over here on the
Over
bitty
volume
corn.
point of control too. Look at that nice volume shelf breakout there. It looks like
I have
we're
last resistance at 101.2, 101 800 really, 800 to 102. And over that, I think it just flies. I mean, goodness gracious. You realize how much this is up off the lows?
Yeah. Well,
36%,
yeah,
27K.
big money there. If you got a couple of coins, you made a couple of 100,000s there.
Yep. Yep.
Crazy.
But yeah, obviously almost everything in the market is doing well today. ARM not doing well. They slashed their guidance yesterday. Uh, we got about what 10 minutes or so here left. We can talk about some of these earnings real fast that are going on. ARM, of all things, I thought ARM might do well, but they slashed guidance big time. I mean, big cuts in their guidance, and you can see even with the market up nicely today, they're still down 5%. They were down much further. You can see that kind of bottom wick there, but it's at an interesting spot. I mean, if it holds in down here, maybe, but I don't. It's tough for me when something has that bad of a narrative on guidance that I want to get involved. But the 115 was an interesting level to hold.
Yeah. I mean, you could kind of see what I was kind of doing right there. I mean, it had a trend line before this earnings. It could obviously get right back into it. And it was a very steep one. That would be something to watch. And you could see we obviously do have resistance right above here, around 125 to like 127. So yeah, it's got a little, work to do if it wants to break out, and especially hit that 200 at 133.
I
But
tripped some of my SPY
something
calls
to
here.
watch.
Sorry.
Oh wait, what'd you say,
Oh, you're
Casey?
good. I was pulling up Spy.
I had an order on SPY to trim my calls. It must have made a new high of day because it
Yeah, we're
triggered my order.
trying to get it on NQ here, kind of like a longer.
Apple, here's live news. Apple developing specialized chips for glasses and AI servers.
Check out Target TGT on the daily.
TGT. Sorry.
Yeah,
Oh my God, it's right there. Oh,
TGT
it's
on the daily.
about to run $4. That consolidation is beautiful.
So it broke that trend line, but it put a Morningstar reversal off the EMAs on the daily, and you got that freaking volume gap right there to go into that gap fill all the way up to like 104.
Yep.
And it
Yeah,
looks
if
like
it
a
just
giant
gets
cup and
over, this is
handle
like
now.
and this is like the fourth shot at it too at this 98, whatever,
Yeah.
98.50.
I'm looking to swing June 20 calls on it, probably over the weekend. I'm probably going to either enter today or tomorrow. QQQ, no high a day. SPY 570.
Boom. Yeah, we need to get to the 50-day on target's at 102, and that's like basically the kind of those lows. There's that one wick down a little bit lower, but I think you get to 102 and then that 104, 105 area probably comes pretty quickly.
By the way, yeah, Casey, I know we were talking about this earlier. Rivian has really stepped it up since we talked about it. It's actually over the earnings,
Oh, yeah.
almost at the earnings high, 1385.
Yesterday's low was the 200-day perfectly, by the way.
Yeah, yep. Look at that, 1253, 1254.
Which they had earnings on Tuesday, and they were
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean
They were mixed.
the delivery guidance was lowered by over 12-14%.
Yeah, but I think they're in a transition period too with that. What is it
Yeah,
called? The R2 or whatever
correct.
for early next year. So like that's the big like the earnings really don't matter. I kind of agree with the point you were making the other day.
Yeah, in paper, if he was on right now, he kind of said the same thing. Like the quarter that just happened on Tuesday, it didn't really matter that much. And honestly, the quarter that happens next quarter, it doesn't matter. Of course, every earnings matters, but it doesn't matter that much either. But after that, when we start to see, okay, is production starting on these cars? Obviously we've been getting better on reducing prices and reducing expenses overall, whether it's in the factory, whether it's on the vehicle and the parts. And obviously seeing the again, production and demand of the newer vehicles and stuff that they have going on. So there's going to be a lot to go on here. And plus, they're getting close to actually being net income profitable. It's not going to be soon, but it's very possible in the next 4 to 6 quarters. I would say after this one, it's the next 4 to 6 quarters. So let's make it 5 to 7. But um, I mean, they've been gross profitable 2 quarters in a row now. First U.S. company to do that, other than the big ones. I'm just
It
talking.
seems like it
Yeah,
seems like this is a great place to accumulate some shares down here.
yeah.
Anything
And
from
honestly,
12 to 14,
what
15.
I kind of feel like is going to happen is I think we are going to get like a cup. And if we go to, let's just say PLTR, okay? Look, you get those choppy bottoms, before you start to go up. Let's go to hymns. You get those choppy bottoms before you start to go up, okay?
Yeah, that accumulation phase, and then once they
And
turn the corner with the fundamental side of things, you see the charts accumulated. It starts to push up, and then when it gets that little handle, especially that falling wedge, that's a beautiful illustration right there. When something like that happens, that's one of my favorite chart setups
oh,
to get
exactly.
into. If you're not already in, DraftKings did this for me a couple years ago, where it had a huge cup and handle
Yep.
on DraftKings, and then it went up and made that kind of whatever the handle part with the falling wedge, the flag, whatever you want to call it, and just rocketed from there. So DraftKings reports today. I'm excited to see how that one goes. I own a
Yeah.
decent amount.
I think that is going to be an interesting one. What are they expecting? So negative 7.8 cents and 1.43 billion in revenue.
All right, go to here's I want to hit one of mine that reported yesterday. Go to Mercado Libre, Meli,
Oh, one
MELI.
of my favorites.
So I've absolutely pounded the table on this name just because I'm super familiar with the company because I use it a lot, and they hit every bucket. I mean, people like to say it's the Amazon of this, or we hear about the
Mhm.
Amazon of Asia, the Amazon of Africa, or of South Korea, or whatever. This is the one of Latin America, but this is something I have a little bit more firsthand dealings with because I use them all the time.
Yeah,
And not only do their growth is insane.
it is.
When you look at here, I'm gonna flip my screen real fast, and then I'll throw it back to yours. Look at this right here. This is their revenue growth over the last basically 4 years. And Q1 they always have a slight like dip. You can see Q1 here, Q1 here. It always pulls back a little bit in Q1. Did I freeze?
No, 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 you're good.
Okay, I was making sure I get something froze up somewhere. I think the music froze up. That's what it was.
Okay.
There it is.
I haven't
Now
heard
it's
the
back.
music the whole time.
Well, Mercado Libre, I mean, just incredible growth. Like, and if you actually dig into the numbers here, I mean, it's just insane what they're doing. Um, I mean, almost 6 billion in revenue again. They expected 5.5 on this report. EPS just blowing it out from 827 to 974. And then the chart, you were kind of showing it there too, but I mean, you talk about a trend. I mean,
Yeah,
this thing, and this is a daily chart going back for a while, but like you see this weekly. I mean, this right here is just boom, new all-time high overnight. I mean, the only thing that they haven't done is stock split. Literally, the only thing they haven't done is stock split. But I absolutely love this company. They do everything. So uh, it's like Amazon where I can buy anything on there, but it also has like a Facebook Marketplace or an eBay type of section as well. Local car dealerships will list their cars for sale on there. I mean, everything. It's literally like an all-in-one marketplace. Imagine if Amazon allowed you to, your local car dealerships to list used cars on there. If your neighbor was able to sell, stuff like on Facebook Marketplace or eBay, the stuff you see on there, car parts to, you know, anything, anything that you would buy online. That Mercado Libre has it. They also have what's called Mercado Pago, which is pay in Spanish, which is essentially their point of sale system. A lot of small businesses use this, kind of like a Clover or a Square or something like that. They also have streaming type of stuff. It's massive, just massive. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's Mercado Libre. That's what
Dude, I remember trading Melly around 800. How long ago was that? It has to be at least 2 or 3 years. Let me check.
22, December of 22.
Yeah.
I remember I was buying some of the stuff down here. This is like when I first moved down here. I saw how big it was. I just started buying some. It was like in the 900s at the time, and then I was like adding in the 1200s. I added again up here, and like almost every one of these earnings like dips because they had one earnings was bad. I think it was this one. One of these earnings they had like a one-off like tax hit or something, and it like got punished. I was buying a lot of equity down here, and you can also see like it just back tests when it and pulls back and back tests like previous highs and just goes. I mean, I'll probably buy this thing again if it comes back to the 2100 or 2K. I'll probably buy again here, and this thing just keeps going. It's massive.
It does. I mean, again, they're executing their plan, they're executing their strategy, and obviously it's working. They're growing fundamentally, and again, this is a company that I used to trade back then, and yeah, it's great. It really is great, to be honest.
I definitely want to put that. If it's not on your radar, I want to put. I mean, not you, not. I'm just talking to anyone watching. If Mercado Libre is not on your radar, I mean, maybe you don't want to buy at all-time highs, right? But any dip, especially you see these previous all-time highs back here from 2021. I will be adding back here. Not financial advice, but put this on your radar. This company is just incredible. Um, One of my core positions. I'll put it that way. And we got a couple minutes. I do want to shout out our sponsor, Vista Shares. Uh, invest like Omaha,
Omaha.
Omaha. Definitely want to shout them out. Omaha, they actually have a new one too. But go to vistashares.com, check them out, do your research there. The Omaha is obviously based around Berkshire Hathaway and Buffett. It's got some really interesting things. Jump on the website, go take a look at that. Also, they just launched this one day before yesterday. QUSA. This is the quality income one. This is a very interesting one, and it's based more on like value and factor investing. So we'll put that one on the radar too. A little special shout out to that one as well. Appreciate Vista Shares. Also appreciate the two guys that joined me up here today. I don't want to be
Yeah.
let's
By the
there we
way,
go.
we were just talking
These two
about
guys right
Rivian.
here.
It did break out that yesterday's high, that earnings high.
Oh, Rivian did right now?
Yeah. It's on a move
Oh,
right
wow.
now, actually.
Let's go. Everything. New
Wow.
highs across the market. Let's go. Yeah, big shout out to both these guys. Both KC and Knots have Discords. They do a lot of live streams and stuff as well. Make sure you check them out. You can find them. I put it down a while ago at the bottom, but Bull Trade Finder, KC Trades 777. Look them up on X. Follow them up. What's up, girl? There's my friend.
Who's that?
There's my friend. You digging
Who's
for
that?
gold?
That's not Grandpa. That's Imp.
Oh no.
That's Imp, and that's Knots. Say hi. Say hi.
Also
Knots.
follow Everly. We need to get Everly her own account. But no, I do want to shout out both you boys. I appreciate y'all joining me on these midweek market update streams. And both of them have fantastic Discord services, algos, other things out there. So definitely go check all of that out. Big shout out to both of you boys. And I've got a conversation I've got to jump into over with the Neos team on Spaces. So we'll catch you guys. We'll do this again next week. We're going to try to get more consistent on this. Boy, the news has been crazy with all these press conferences keep happening right when we want to stream. But who knows? Maybe we'll be live for one of them. Big shout out to you guys. Big shout out to Vista Shares, and we'll catch everyone later.